right, live session. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start previewing and demoing OptimizePress and LeadPages. While some people, if they want to hop on or ask questions, they can. This is very open-ended. It's just really a free-for-all hour for anyone to ask questions. My dog is going to join us as well, so if she barks, I apologize. All right. The first thing I want to cover is OptimizePress, and that is And that is just basically, go lay, Roxy, go lay down. All right, sorry. So, and that is basically a to strategize your launch funnel through the program, and it gives you the capability to add a membership site eventually to your already existing website, or you can use it also with the OptimizePress theme or plugin. And so that's what I want to cover a little bit today, because there's always a learning curve for how to install it, how to get it up and running, and there is 3 different ways you can use OptimizePress and install it on your site. And the first one is the theme, which in OptimizePress 2 they have a theme and a plugin. In OptimizePress 1 they only had the theme. So what it means by having the theme and the plugin is when you install the theme, it takes over the entire styling and layout of your entire site, your blog, any pages you make, the whole thing. If you only install the plugin, however, you can keep any other theme you're already using. You install this plugin, and now you're able to create landing pages, sales pages, marketing funnels, all that stuff, not interrupting what you already have on your site. So that plugin functionality is one of the biggest, I think, ways that OptimizePress 2 really cut out a lot of why people didn't purchase it before, or why they were hesitant to use it, because it would take over their whole theme. And some people like the way their site looks, and there's always the converting between sites. So I have an Optimize Hub membership area, and that is for anybody. If you buy this option, you get this back end kind of, hold on a second. Sorry, she was whining too much. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so in the Optimize Hub, you can get tutorials, starter guides, and all that good stuff. I'm honestly not sure what they give you for free versus what they have back in this area. So I'm going to show you what they have back here, and if you need some of this stuff and you don't have it, I think the Hub is like $17 a month. So it's really not that bad. OptimizePress is $99 for the product, and that's not a renewable thing if you don't want to. If you renew it, you get all the updates and upgrades and stuff like that. I I'm already logged in. My computer remembered. Okay, I'm going to switch over to screen share and show you how this works. Screen share. Desktop. Okay, now you infinitely see. Okay, so this is the Optimize Hub. And the first thing that when you buy OptimizePress is you're probably going to want to install it. So the main section here is your downloads. And you can download the theme, the plugin, and this is what I was referring to earlier with the theme versus the plugin. And then you have Optimize Member, which is the membership part of your site, which you can download anytime in the future, or you can just use OptimizePress for that purpose only. You don't even have to use the plugin or the theme. And then there's some extra stuff in there, like template-wise, you can download. So what you would do is you would download this, and I'll just click it for your benefit, and it'll start downloading the plugin. And when you're on your site, and this is for the plugin, and I'm just going to log into my back end here. Back in here, when you install OptimizePress as a plugin, you would go to Plugins, Add New, and then you just go to Upload. And then a really nifty thing that I've learned, or I mean it's really not really a learning thing, but is if you click and drag this, you can hover it over and it comes in right here. So you don't actually have to care about where it downloaded. You just download it, and this works for themes or plugins or really anything across the web. Just drag and drop to the upload, and then you just hit install now. And so mine already has the theme installed, so I'm not going to actually run it, but it would show you, completed, and then you want to activate the plugin. And so it will show up on your plugin page, which I don't have the plugin installed because I'm using, I deactivated it because I first started with the plugin and then increased to using it for the theme of my site. So as you can see, when you just download this OptimizePress plugin, all you'll see in this OptimizePress is the dashboard, the page builder, and the launch site. You won't see these blog setup and blog settings. So in the same, and one of the first things you'll have to do when you install it is you'll have to set up the API key, which is really easy. You just come in here and, well, it gives you a screen to do it when you install it. There we go, API key. And this is where you can do it if you've already put it on and you can't find it. But all you do is you come into your site and you go to licensing, and you get 3 licenses with the core package. I've used all 3, but as you can see, it's just this number right here with this registered URL. And so I just, come in here, copy that, and I put that over in my API key. So that is how the API key installation works. And then if you want to install the theme, now you go to Appearance and Themes, and you just add a new theme. And just like we did before with downloads, you download the theme, and I'm not going to go through it, but you get it. So you do the theme, then you go and you add the theme, you upload, you pull it over to here, with this functionality, which just wouldn't work because that's the plugin. And then it will also ask you to verify with the API installation. So you really only need either the theme or the plugin on your site. If you have the theme, you don't need the plugin. And you only need 1 API key per domain. So, for example, I have Optimize Member not installed on this one. I have Optimize Member installed on a different site, but I only needed 1 API key for my Freaking Fast Funnels site. I didn't need 2. It only took over 1 of that API. So you can use it on 3 domains, no matter what you're using as far as the installation method is concerned. So once you download the theme, you'll get blog settings and blog setup. The first thing you'll do is the blog setup, and I'll just kind of run through it really quickly for you. You pick your theme, which what this means is how it's laid out. So you can see a small description here, and you can just click through these and continue and then save it and see how it modifies your site. But this one keeps your theme kind of framed. So you've got an outside, you can't see me, I'm making hand motions. You've got an outside texture or layout that goes around it, and then it's got the content in the middle. So that really frames it out. This one with the full width goes across it, and you've got kind of a gray sidebar. And, you know, I didn't know I was actually using that. And then the other one is just a full, actually I didn't know I was using that. And so you've got this gray sidebar, and you see how there's kind of a separation between them, and each widget kind of has little separators. And then if you pick it with just the ultra minimal, then it'll just be all white, and you won't be able to see that. And you can click this little zoom, and it doesn't really zoom, so I don't, but whatever. You get the idea how it's all white. And then this one was the grays, and this one has the textured outside border content. It really separates it from the rest of the page. All right, so that's the basic layout theme of the setup. And then your branding. So the first thing you want to do is set up your blog header. Hold on a second. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is set up your blog header, and you can just upload a logo, and this will go kind of off to the left side. If you upload a banner image, that will be centered and will go, and it'll fit right above your content, like this. If you just did a logo, it would just show up over here, and that's why they recommend that 250 by 50 pixel. And really, if you're going to use a logo and you want your menu over here, you would do that. So I don't think I have an example. I don't have an example right now. But I have it set up with the content below, or the menu below. And you can upload a repeating header. So if your background is like a gradient, or it's a solid green, or whatever, if you want that color to extend all the way out to the sidebar, then you would use a repeating header image. And what that would do is, if I use green, I would want just a sliver, like 1 pixel wide sliver of that gradient or that color scheme, and that in the theme will repeat that out to the edge of the content. And that's how you get that clean across the board look. So for Marie Forleo, she has a black gradient here going out to the edges. And then I'll just open up a couple because they're probably really good examples. And so she has one above. Her menu is above, and you can do one, or you can do either, or you can do both. Let's do Entrepreneur on Fire. Let's just do EO Fire. And so same concept with this. He doesn't have a header. He kind of customized his a little bit more. But as you can see, once you get past this feature box area, which I'm not using currently, you can, I mean, this is his blog right here, and then this is his sidebar. So he's using theme 3. And Marie Forleo is also using theme 3 on that. So what you can do up top is pretty customizable, but then as you go lower, you kind of recognize the styling. And you can just choose the background color. So if you just have green, you can just pick the green here. But if you want like that gradient like I'm talking about, you can do the repeating header. I'm going to check out to see if anyone said anything on here. No. Okay. I don't even know. There we go. All right, I guess I would see questions there. All right, so the next thing you can do is upload your favcon. I don't even know if that's really how you pronounce it, but it's a really small image, and you can use a converter to convert a PNG or whatever. But really what that does is that's this little logo, and I really need to update mine because this was my initial starting out logo, and I've been working on making a new one that goes up there with just the T and the I. But that's how you do this. And I asked a question, how many tabs you have open, because I always have a million. So just kind of asking around on Facebook to see what the story is on what people do for that, because I think it's interesting. OCD people probably have as many tabs open as I do. So, and then you pick your color settings, and really this is just for the feature area. So this upper part that they have up here would be what this coloring is for. So like you don't see this lime green. I was playing around with something before, but you don't see this lime green anywhere on my site like as a color. So, but if I turned on my feature area, you would see that. And then copyright notice obviously is at the bottom. Typography is your theme settings, which this just says theme default, and that's actually set in the optimized dashboard, but you are able to make your fonts different for your blog than your other pages. So if you're making, sales pages and you want to use Tahoma, but on your blog you want to use some kind of Comic Sans or other type of, you've got a whole bunch, and it actually shows you them, and this is for all of your blog articles and stuff like that. But for your landing pages, all those settings for font and typography and stuff like that are set in the dashboard. And I'll get to the dashboard in a second. And then you can just do, and if it's like this and there's nothing in there, it defaults to black, which to me it's kind of confusing because I'm like, oh no, I don't want it to be white, I want it to be black. But you can just leave it and it's fine, and it'll do black. And then you continue after you've set all your branding, so your colors, your headers, stuff like that. You come into your layout, which is where you pick your sidebar, left or right. You can pick the size of it. I'm not sure if, I think 309, yeah, 309 is the default. I would never have randomly picked that. I just left it. You can make it thinner, you can make it wider. It looks like Marie Forleo's is a little bit thinner than the standard. Maybe not. Maybe her font's a little smaller. But it's all how you want it set up. So his is definitely wider. His whole page in general is wider than mine and Marie's. So that is that. And actually, I'm going to pull up Solo Hour. This is another good OptimizePress page. Solo Hour. And I'm seeing Facebook. People talking about the game later. Okay, so here's a really good, header image with the sidebar and the blog. He probably should put, I don't know why that's not showing, but there should be a little like box here. You might want to put more on his sidebar. But other than that, this is a really great example of OptimizePress as well. All right, so let's go back to the setup. You have your header navigation. So this is where you pick since I installed a banner, it knows that I'm using the banner header with the links. If I didn't have that banner installed, it would show logo and then links off to the side as an option. Hold on. I don't know. She's getting excited about something. All right, so this is where you choose whether you want it to be above or below or both. So you can do primary navigation. Primary navigation, and then that goes at the top. And I just played with these, but I don't have anything set as my primary navigation bar. And I'll show you. Actually, I'll do that now while I'm talking about it. So if I went to Appearance Menus, which is where you set all your menus of how things show. So my main menu is the blog primary, and that's what's under the header. If I click top, it will go, that's the one that's at the top. So now it's going to be both. So I could create an entirely different top menu. Actually, I have an example. Apparently, I thought about it before. So you can set a top menu. We're going to look at the top menu. So I've got these three, and I can make that the blog top menu and save it. And now when I load my page, I'm going to have this colored top bar up here for the menu. So that's another nifty way to have kind of two places for people to look. I don't know why I decided not to do it, but I think I like just having the one main navigation pane. So I'm going to turn it off. And then, and I mean, you can see that there's, I mean, they have their, he has his really high, he just has the primary one, she has the top one, and she could actually add her primary here as well if she wanted to. And that's just, I know other examples, but they're not popping up on my head right now. So we undid that, and now I'm going to go back to where we were in the page, the blog setup, and we were at layout. So continue. All right, so that was your header and nav. So if your primary is the main one under your header, and this is where you set up those stylings. So when I hover over it, it turns the font green, or it turns the font orange, and it darkens that gradient. So I just have a simple gradient start in bottom, and I just made it, this does not matter. Making it the same doesn't make it change. What it does is it'll just apply a darker tone over it. So if I save this the way it is, it'll still work. It'll still have that. So if this is just a slight gradient on the green. You know, he has his a straight color and it just darkens, and same goes for these. They seem the straight color seems to be a trend, but I don't know, I wanted it to have a little bit of a gradient, just to kind of stand out a little bit more, I guess. All right, and then going to the modules, we have the homepage feature area, which is what you see kind of right here with these video sections and her opt-in. And you just open this and you pick what you want. So you can have video and sign up, video and content, rollover, image and sign up, or just HTML content between. And I'm not going to get into this because it's a big, there's a lot of options you can do in here. But you can watch, if you click on any of these eyes, it'll give you a little video on how to use it. And you can't hear it because it's in my head, but yeah. Anyway, so those will help you get an idea of how to use these if you have any questions. And then you can do advertising, which puts banners across your page. I'm not going to talk about that yet. Maybe in another, if anybody has questions later. And then sidebar opt-in, I'm integrated with Infusionsoft, and the opt-in I have is my video replay, which is this section. You can come in here to the color scheme and pick a style, and you just rotate and you just kind of see what they have available. 8, 9. I like this one because it stood out to my white background. I think it's got some more color schemes in there for you to choose from. So they're built in, easy to pick, obviously, that you see here. You've got your content, which is just what shows up. So enter your email address, enter your first name, free automation video, how to blah, blah, blah. So that's what this all is. And then you've got your submit button, and you can create, this is what mine looks like, and you just click this and pick your button style that you want to use. So. All right. So go away. All right, and then you can, customize it with styling and text and drop shadows and all that. So however you want to make your button. And then you've got sharing, which just allows, this is under blog, so it allows for, actually that's a really good question. I have it turned on. Oh, it allows for this bar at the bottom. And then related posts is, I'm not seeing related posts showing up, so I don't know if I don't have something set up properly or what with that. But I have it turned on. And then you've got your comment system. I have mine set up with WordPress because I'm using a Discus system, and that way people can log in, and when they comment, it puts it on social media as well. So when I post this, it would go onto social media. And other scripts is any type of code that you want to add, whether it be in the header, footer, or custom. So if you wanted to add to your blog some type of code. But if you're doing Google Analytics, there's a different section for that later. And then continue reading is just what it says when people want to continue reading. So on my home page with the blog, it has continue reading, and you can change that to read more, learn more, whatever. And I just left it to the default. So that would finish your initial setup. And then now all of your settings are in the blog settings. So everything you picked in here is now in here, and it's just a different format. I hope they, in a new version, they just get rid of, I don't know, somehow make a wizard but don't have it like this, because it's confusing. You think it's different things, it's not. If you change something here, it'll change in here. So now if we go to layout, structure, header, this is exactly what I was just walking you through. We've got the feature, the sidebar opt-in, the sharing, all of that was what we walked through in the blog setup. So now that's all for the blog portion of your site. Now for your landing pages, you've got your dashboard. And again, these don't show up if you just installed the plugin, the blog tabs, or the blog sub items. So if you go to your dashboard, it's the same header and logo setup portion. However, this applies to all your landing pages. So if you don't want to use you don't necessarily want to use a banner across all of your landing pages, you'd want to take this out. You wouldn't want it there. You would want a logo, or you would just kind of want to build your page from scratch. So that applies to your landing pages. And then again, you've got same stuff, site footer, any custom, this would be site-wide. So if you wanted to make a change only to your blog pages styling, you would do it in the blog settings custom area. And then if you wanted to make it to your whole site, you would make it here. So if in your blogs you wanted to underline links, but you didn't want to in your whole page, you could come in here and not underline links. And then in your blog settings, you could underline those links that are specifically in there. And that's just based on your preference. So, you know, these links right here aren't underlined until you hover them. But when you go to her page, I wonder if she has it set up that way. Her links have underlines. Do you see it? You see the difference? So something like that, you would custom in one section and not the other. To typography, this is what I was talking about earlier, where you can, in the blog settings, change your typography for specifically your blogs. This is your entire site. And the theme default, I believe, is Arial. But you just come in here, and that becomes the new default for all of your pages. Same thing with all your styles and your colors and stuff like that. Hungry? Should be all right. Here's your API key, like I showed you before. Some of this I'm just going to skip over. Content, templates. You can actually add in, like install some of these in, but that'll be a different tutorial. Fancy box for images just makes your images come up like in a little fancy box. So instead of opening them in another window, it opens them right in front of you, and you're able to exit them just like that. And you can, you know, like on Facebook, where you can click out into the space and it doesn't close it. And then this just is helping you. This is just helping you with any of your compatibility issues you may have. I didn't change anything important. Analytics and tracking, this is where you put your Google Analytics code. And I also have a website pixel code from Facebook in here as well. This no script Facebook tab. And then I also, this is what I've been really using for, well, I'll get to that in another section with, you know, users or whatever. But that has to do with SEO and Google Plus and stuff like that. Email marketing services, so any system that you have that's on this list right here, you can integrate. So you can integrate your GoToWebinar, and so when somebody signs up, it automatically signs up with the form you create on here. It'll automatically put them in your GoToWebinar. And you can also do, I'm linked with my Infusionsoft, which I guess I probably shouldn't show you the API key. And then you know, any MailChimp API key, your iContact, Aweber, anything like that you can get from your provider. And then social integrations is if you're using some type of Facebook app or commenting system or something, this would be where you would find that. And I think that covers it. It's pretty advanced. So Page Builder creates a page, and Launch Suite is where you can do marketing funnels. So the first thing you would obviously do is have to create pages. So we go to Page Builder, type in a title, so test, creates a URL that goes off to the end, and we'll just check it, and it should be fine because I don't have that. And then you can put in a page thumbnail, and you can use a blank page or you can use a content template. I'm just going to use a blank page. And now I pick any of these, so probably just a landing page for an example. And any of these are completely like changeable. So hold on, let me go back to page. I feel like those are your landing page options, and these are your marketing sites. So you've got, you've got your logo and everything like that set up, and it looks a lot like your pages, but it's more like for static content and not your blog. I'm just going to go back to, and then this one is just going to create, I'll just go through it while I went through the other two. All right, this is way more advanced than what I want to cover right now, so I'm just going to go back. And we're going to pick landing pages. And I'm going to pick this second one. And you can pick any of these for a basic landing page. Now, you can add, remove, delete anything you want in here. So I'm going to create this little ebook one or a course one, and we'll proceed. And this is basically just going to create the page, and you'll see it in a live editor. And all this stuff you can change later once you've created the page. So header and nav, yes. I want the logo, and then so remove image. Maybe I don't want a logo. Header background color. Let's pick a fun purple. We don't want it to link anywhere. And then I'll put this is where you get to put it alongside because I put in a logo and not a header. And I could just pick top menu for this one. You can make any kind you want in the appearance menus. And footer, you can put in a nav, and you can make it extra large, and you can put in a disclaimer for some type of disclaimer. All right, and we'll just launch it. And now is where all the customization begins. So, wow, that's really ugly. Really, if you're making a landing page, you really don't want any of this header stuff. So I'm going to go into page settings. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to go into layout settings, and I'm going to remove the header, and I'll leave the footer on just for all intensive purposes. And so that's going to get rid of that section that's up there. And so every time you create a page, it's based on rows and columns. So for example, this is a one row, and it's also one column. This right here is one row and 3 columns. Going into here, this row is 1 row and 2 columns, and this is also 1 row, 1 column. So your whole entire page is broken down into sections. So if you ever want to add anything, you just click this add element, and it comes in every potential point. If you want to see what your page looks like without all of that, you just click this show hide contents. So this is what it would look like. So I can come in here and add an element, and I have a million, not really a million, but I have very many options to choose from, and so I'm not going to be able to go through all of them. But one of the cool ones is social sharing. You just pick a layout, you know, and then you put what URL to like, and you pick all these different, and you just insert. And I don't know if it'll show up without putting any settings in, but no. but it would show up. And then you've got you've got 2 columns of text where you could put an image on the left and a text on the right if you wanted to avoid it. You could also do image and with text aside if you wanted to do that without using HTML. So you just choose the image and pick that one, select my image file from my media library. You can also use a URL or from your computer. We'll just say this one, show, insert into post, and what was that called again? Email myself. Email, and then just words. And because it's like that, I probably want to, I'll write a line in just for fun, and we'll insert that. And so you'll see the image and the header and then the content. So that's how you would lay it out with that text aside. You can add this is a headline, for example. This is a text. This is an arrow. You can add in arrows of different types. So if I went to edit this and I went back, I could choose all these different arrows to pick from. So I could do that one and move it to the right and insert it. And now it's here. And I can add a spacer, vertical spacing, I'll say 30. And now it actually points to the text. Oh, wait, hold on. And you can just drag and drop everything around. So this little move, you just move above. So I can edit this and say that was not enough. Let's do 100. So it points to that button, which is still not going to be enough. But you get the idea. And then I can add an element of just an image here. Just images. And you can put it, all of these have borders, like bigger borders, whatever. I'm going to pick no border. Select a file. I think I have I'm building an autoresponder course, so I think I have a cover for it. Let me see if I have it in here. There we go. Yeah. So, and that's a really boring cover photo, but it was free. So, that could be, you know, and then let's make a better arrow because I don't like that arrow. If you just keep scrolling, there's more. So I've got these blue arrows, I've got red, I've got these ones that like are colors and they point. My colors are green, so I'll probably just stick with the one that it was, and I'll center it. And now that arrow more points to that. And now I'll just take a look at it when I shut it and see what happens. And that won't say spacer, but I'm just going to delete it anyway. Okay. So now I've got this. Is this a spacer? Apparently there was something above that. So now I've got a basic layout. To edit these, you just hit the edit, and that gives you any type of formatting you want. You've got the typical editor for WordPress. You've got the content. You can change the color, the font. I don't know what it's using, so I'll just pick Tahoma 40. Let's say 45, and say 5-day. And center, and you can add margins in here as well. So insert. And this is what you integrate with your lead capture magnet storing. So if you're using an email autoresponder type system or a CRM, that would come into here. And you can actually save the data kind of. You can't really save it in Infusionsoft, but you can email it to yourself. So if you don't have a system, you just email it to yourself here. And this is where you redirect them. So if I wanted, to integrate with Infusionsoft, no, it's going to have to bring it on my list. So I actually have a 5-day autoresponder series set up. And I think that's it. And then my content, enter your name and your email below. We would never spam you. Enter your first name. Dot, dot, dot. I like dot, dot, dots. I don't know why. Advanced options are just always like extra formatting type options. So I do that. So that's there. And I can change this button by going back in there. This is just a bullet box. These are actually pretty cool. You've got a whole array of buttons to choose from in here. So instead of checkboxes, I can use targets. And you just add items for new ones, and you can delete them. And advanced options again, styling functions. And you insert. Got those, got those. Here's a lot, like, so if somebody didn't decide to do here, but they went through the rest of your stuff, they would come down here. So this is if you just went through the process, but you can add rows and add columns. Follow me. You can add rows and add columns at any point. So if you wanted to build a complete sales page with this, with more and more content, you would just add a new row, and you pick how many columns and kind of how you want it laid out. So these are some featured areas layouts. So like video and opt-in. So this is kind of what's we're already kind of using. Or you can just do a typical layout and add the elements as you go. So I'm going to pick 1/3 and 2/3 just to have something different. I just double clicked on that. And then I can add an element. And let's go through here and find something new you haven't seen. Calendar, date, and time. And you just pick a time. So if you're making like a webinar or some type of live event or sale ends, whatever kind of a thing, you can come in here and pick these. The main difference is the styling of these three. I'll just pick this one and insert it. So now I've got that. I can add an element over here, and that can be a countdown timer for the same thing. Let's pick that one. Here's where you put in the date and time, so we'll just leave it at what it is and insert. And I feel like that should not... So sometimes the styling does not work as perfectly as you would like. Advanced options. No. So apparently this is meant to be... Let's see what happens there. No. Where's a one-rower? I don't know why it's breaking there. It's really weird. So some of the things are not perfect. Let's edit it and let's use a different one. Well, that's probably not going to work either because that's long. All right, well, that one worked better. So... yeah, that formatting is all over the place. I hope they work on fixing that. I've never actually used it on here. All my timers I've put on there. That one works. All right. And then we can add another element. And we can use feature box, which these are pretty cool. Where to go? Here's a headline, guarantees. It's got some pretty cool pick your guarantees boxes that you can put in. But this feature box is pretty nifty. You pick like what you want it to look like. I like this one. It's my favorite. Then you just put your content in. This is just like a headline text for the top of your box. And so now you've got a box and you can add elements within the box. So it's like the ultimate hierarchy of boxes. You can put 2 columns of text, 1, 2, insert. Now that's there. Add another one. That's an arrow. And you say, let's point down. Check that out. Update. So Obviously, this is not what you would set up, but the customization is pretty much endless. If you ever want to make something similar, you click this little duplicate and it makes another one. You can click the dial, the gear here, and you can put in some code before or after. You can hide it for mobile devices, which is convenient. And then you've got a delayed fade in. So if you wanted it to come in 30 seconds after somebody opened the page, you can do that as well. I don't think it'll simulate here, so I just won't do it, but you get the idea. And you just keep going. You add a row, you pick your columns, you add content. So however you want it to look, you can make it look with this page. And if you want to add this background color to the row, you come up to the row and you click the edit, and you pick your row background color, and then you just update it. And so now it's got that color, and you can gradient. Oops, I just duplicated it. I didn't want to do that. I always click the wrong ones when I do these because I go so fast. All right, edit. And then you can gradient it to a darker red. Kind of makes me hungry. Oh, that's cool. The box kind of has like a mirror effect over there. So that's just, I mean, this page is all over the place, and I'll delete it, but you get the idea for OptimizePress. So I'm going to check out my pages to see if anybody said anything. Nope. Okay. I'm going to go on to LeadPages really quick then and do a quick overview. So OptimizePress is way more customizable, so it took a lot longer. So LeadPages is going to take seconds in comparison. So I hope this is my LeadPages and not somebody else's. It is. So on a webinar page, let's just start a new one. So we've got all these templates with LeadPages. Nope. We've got all these templates with LeadPages. And let me see if anybody said anything in here. No. Okay. Hold on, let me go back to all right, we've got all these templates and LeadPages, and you just pick one you want. You can sort by conversion rate, which is data that they collect based on industry, but they only show conversion rates across all industries. So it depends on your industry which one obviously will work better. They're working on upgrading this though, and they're building out a template cart where somebody can create and put the template in the back end, and you can upload it and use it yourself. So based on conversions, these are the highest converting. I recently made one with this template. I've seen this template a lot and this one. A lot of these I've seen a lot of times. This one has been used a lot too. So we'll use this one. You pick your industry, which right now does not matter, but they are going to the they are working on developing that into based on your industry. So the dynamic controls, which is the date and time, controls this countdown timer. So I'm going to put this 2014 and preview it. I'm just going to delete it at the end, but give it a name. I don't want to integrate it with anything. We'll just do that. Save it. You have to integrate it before you save it, which is kind of annoying. I wish you could just lay it out without having to do that. And we'll just thank you page it to myself, which also nobody's going to fill out, so it doesn't matter. So you've got to set up kind of the integrations before you start styling, which I think is backwards. But now you have this, and you can, like I said, you have this, so we'll save it. And preview it. Oh, it was already trying. So apparently the preview does not show the time. Let me go back to that. Oh, it didn't save this. Make sure when you're editing any of these controls that you hit OK or save at the bottom, and this is green. And so now we'll save that, and then it should be counting down. Yep, there we go. So lots of days, but you get the point. And any of this in the page that you want to modify, you just click and you change the copy. So copy. And you can hide it. So if you only wanted 3 bullets, you could come to this last one and hide it. You can come in here, choose an image. Which pick that one? And then Molly with Molly. And click change content. This is your button, but if you want to change the content of this, you come in here, and this is all the elements. It's a lot easier to find them by clicking on them, but you can come over here, and if you hover, you notice that things are changing. So I can come over to button 1 text, and it seems like it's off a little bit actually, which is kind of annoying. Claim my spot now, just reserve my seat, which both are equally whatever, but just showing you that you can change that. And then you've got another one at the bottom. Here's a little exceptions and warnings to kind of make it a little bit scarce so people will join. You know, landing pages is definitely a trick, so I'm really just trying to focus on the software portion of it. I mean, I do them, I'm focusing today on software. You can come in here, and so with mine, I don't think I ask for, with go to webinar. I can go in here and I can turn off last name, which apparently I can't. I need both. That's weird. And you can use Facebook registration, which will pull people's name and email from their Facebook page, but I don't recommend it because a lot of people don't have their most up-to-date email there, and they also, some people don't like giving their Facebook, don't approve, like approving their Facebook. It's kind of a security thing in their mind, but really all they're giving you is their name and their email. But some people hesitate with that. The thank you page is where you send them once they've hit reserve, and that can be anywhere from your site to a thank you page you've made in LeadPages or an upsell page in LeadPages. And once you have this, and say we're done and we publish, okay, save. This is your option. So you can use this page that's already created by LeadPages, but it's hosted on LeadPages. What I always recommend for somebody who's using WordPress is to download this LeadPages WordPress plugin. So just like with OptimizePress, you download this plugin, and they've made this already pre-configured with your information, your, you know, landing pages, etc. So now when I go into my, exit out of that. When I go into LeadPages, I can add a new LeadPages, and now I'm going to have that test as my latest page, and I can put it off my page. So if I do test with the custom URL, now when I go to totallyinfused.com/test, it's that landing page we just created, and this helps conversion rates because when people see the URL in Facebook or on Twitter, it gives them a little bit, they know that you have a website, and it looks better than having LeadPages, which there are still people who, actually I'm going to go here, I'm going to just see. There are people who on the side will show you ads with LeadPages. Let's see if anybody's doing it. No, see, most of these people are doing it with their domains, and it's probably going to, so this machine is live. Let's see what landing page that is. So this is an OptimizePress landing page, is my guess. And then, which it could be something else. I'll and see. I'm curious. This is how I find out what people are using. You just come in here, go into head. Yep, OptimizePress. So that's what they are using. And then you can go to John Loomer's, and he is using, he made his own page, and it doesn't look like really any of them, although it could be an OptimizePress page. We'll inspect it and see. Head. Sometimes you won't be able to tell what they're using. But you can see like what kind of plugins they're using. So he's using Click to Tweet. He's using the Epic theme. So I don't see OptimizePress. So he probably just built his from scratch, which is cool. But for normal people who don't have designers and all that stuff, it gets really tricky. So let's see. I don't think I'm looking for a sponsored. So pretty much everything at this point is people, the ones that do the best are the ones where people have their domain on that. So that's why I really recommend that for your test page. So like I just did one, and this was my landing page, short and sweet. I probably need to do a better job of the copy, but integrating wise, I set it up in seconds. So that's my basic overview of how to use these two different landing page software systems. I don't see that I have any questions. I'm going to look really fast to see. I guess I should see if anybody's even watching right now live. I have one viewer. Thank you, viewer. All right, so I think I'm just going to call it. I've been on for an hour. And, you know, join me in the future because I love question and answers. And the reason why I went through OptimizePress and LeadPages is because those are the things I've been working with clients, and they're really having an issue with setting things up and things working properly. One of the biggest things I've seen in LeadPages is people not hitting the OK after they've changed content. So if you come into your lead page, oops, I really feel like clicking that should make it edit, but whatever. If you go into your style settings and you change the colors up, blah, 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 make sure you come to the bottom and hit OK. If you just click on, like if you click this, change it, and you click somewhere else, it sometimes remembers and saves, and it sometimes doesn't. So my recommendation is just every time you finish with something, hit OK, and it'll send you back to here, and you're good to go on to the next thing. Click on this, OK. You know, click on that, OK. You know, so you make sure you're saving everything, and then obviously make sure you save it. Now, if you have the Pro version, you can split test. So if you have two different headlines you want to try, you can easily split test from within LeadPages, and that's one of their really nice functionalities. With OptimizePress, you'd have to create two separate pages or use something like Visual Web Optimizer. And, you know, obviously I have zero time to talk about that today, but you can pick any page that you own and put in the little code and change out things and split test. And split testing is just trying out two different things and seeing which one works the best. So I'm still getting comments on how many tabs you have open. Feel free to go friend me on Facebook, Molly Richardson. I think it's molly.e.richardson for the URL. And just friend me, and I'll be happy to help you with any questions you have with integrations and such. And I'll see you next Tuesday. All right, guys.